Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. Like it or not, we are in the live service era. Live service. What that means is you got these games that you buy, whether it be for PlayStation 4, Xbox, or whatnot. You got these games that you buy that do not have dedicated offline campaigns. Games that are no longer with us, like Battleborn, for instance. You can't even play that anymore. They cut everything off. So you get yourself a used copy of Battleborn. Well, it's a nice little coaster. I keep hearing different things about Anthem, whether or not it was killed off, not, still playable. And I'm reading some posts from a couple months back about Anthem, which is, again, an online-only game, live service, basically, meaning you have to connect to the internet to play it. Apparently, you can still play that, but tough luck finding anybody in that game world to actually play with if you're matchmaking. It's a difficult thing being a game seller at the flea market, trying to figure out if what I'm going to sell is actually a game or a live service. For instance, on PS4, if I sell Street Fighter on PS4, that is a game that, more than likely it still has players on there, has functions to where you can hook up and play online if you want to. You can have fights with people online if you want to, but you don't have to. You still have that option, if I'm not mistaken. Hell, there is games that you think should not be online only that I've found out are online only. But Street Fighter, I believe, like Mortal Kombat, you can have experiences offline to play those. There are those games. And then there's games like Battleborn, that if I wasn't doing my homework on it, I might get a copy, put it in my PS4 and it says copying of disc complete, not fire it up, and not know, and just be unaware, not doing my homework. That's a game that I installed, is clean, nothing wrong with the disc, I could sell. But then a customer would be pissed off if they came back and said, hey, what's the deal? You're selling me on this and it doesn't even work. It's difficult. It is. And this came up with a regular customer of mine named Travis. Now, this regular customer, he's the one that basically comes back and he always winds up getting credit and switching games out because I don't know what his deal is, but he's a good guy and everything. He's the one I got Scarface PS2 for. Now, he's going to hold on to that one. He wanted Scarface PS2, but he had $7.50 store credit. So what he got was, I think it amounted to, I might have owed him 50 cents or something like that, or he owed me 50 cents originally, because he got one, I think, sports game, and I think he got the Elder Scrolls Online, which was still sealed, right? I was selling it for $1. And I put it with the rest of those games, for $1. So, of course, he picks it up thinking, that's a pretty good deal. It's a game sealed for Xbox One for $1. He's thinking, man, at $1, I'll take that home and play it. Why not? Because, like I said, he had the store credit anyways. So he gets those two games, he goes off, and he comes back a little later. And somebody noticed that he got that. And I'm a little bit ashamed that I didn't do my homework on it. One of my customers that was playing some games, he said, hey, that disc is not going to work for him. I'm like, no, it's Elder Scrolls, it's sealed, But even if, I just kind of assumed that he had Xbox Live, but what if he doesn't have Xbox Live? Then he would need Xbox Live to play it online regardless. But what he said was the other guy, the other customer that, was just playing games at my arcade, he said what happened is on that game, they shut it down, like Battleborn. Basically, you can't access it. You can't play online anymore. So when he came back, I had to say, well, you actually have a credit towards something else because, that's not going to work. And I had to explain to him, he's not a big time gamer. He's mostly plays on the old systems, but he just, recently got an Xbox One. I had to explain to him how games work nowadays, or some do, or just don't. This is a problem that you didn't have to deal with in retro days. You didn't have to deal with this fucking problem. Outside of maybe like Destiny on PS3 or Destiny on Xbox 360, or like a small sliver, a handful of titles during that generation, you did not have to worry. All you had to worry about is making sure the game works, and that's all. But now, not only do you have to make sure the game works physically, but now you have to do your homework on every single game and find out if it is, number one, something that you can only play if you have connections to the live service. Then you have to ask the customer, like, hey, you have, the live service, right? You pay for it so you can play this just online. It's online. And you have to check and see if they shut the game off. Evolve recently. Wasn't Evolve shut off? You can see how it gets so aggravating having to keep up with all this once you get a game in. You have to check the game, install the game, make sure it works fine if it's on a PS4 and Xbox or something like that. But you have to look online and verify that it still is playable, or they just decide to shut it off. There should be some website, and let me know if there is. There should be some website dedicated to if a game is active or live service. If a live service is active or inactive. And if so, if it's going to be shut down, when it's going to be shut down. Could you imagine, if I sold a game that was maybe a week out from being just shut off, deactivated, and I'd have a return on that. So that's one difficulty of selling games nowadays, newer games, because you see, like I said, in the old days, if you have, games you're selling, kart games like old Nintendo kart games, Sega games, or 360 or PlayStation 3 games, you have those games that you're selling to somebody with the expectation that they're going to take it home, it's going to work fine, and 10, 15 years down the road, if they want to take out that game, they want to take out that NES Battletoads or that 360 Ashura's Wrath. Well, I wish I had Ashura's Wrath on 360. The expectation is they can play it in 10, 15 years down the road. But when you have a live service game, you have basically shit should be illegal. It really should be. Should be damn illegal. Think about that. You're buying a physical item that's going to be worthless at some point. I just can't get over that. So many people are just perfectly fine with that. Every single game needs some kind of offline functionality. I'll repeat that for all of you if you didn't grasp it. Every single fucking game released in the store physically needs to have some kind of, even if it's just a training part that you can go through again and again, you have to have some kind of offline functionality. Otherwise, you're really not buying a physical item. You're not buying anything but a coaster and then, a case of plastic. That's what you're buying. So if you go out there somewhere, you go to a flea market, you see Battleborn, don't buy it unless you need the case and the disc to just be a weapon and fling at somebody you don't like, or something to actually, keep the condensation off of your desk. Maybe you can sell them as coasters. Maybe you can, have Battleborn games, live service shit or whatever it is, Maybe you can have it. You could sell it for 25 cents and make it be a joke about it. Be like, okay, this is a coaster. It's a case for another game. Maybe you have loose that you actually want to protect that works. And the disc itself, keep that Mountain Dew off of your table with this.